Hello everyone, welcome to your Serve205 Blazer Pulse tutorial. Today we're going to walk through how to submit your project as a Serve205 project coordinator. To start, you're going to need to log in to Blazer Pulse. Visit uab.edu/BlazerPulse. Make sure that you log in with your Blazer ID, complete any Duo security requirements, and then once you're logged in, you're going to want to go to the top right corner and click on your dashboard. Your dashboard is going to be the location of all the groups that you have joined through Blazer Pulse. You're going to want to go until you find your Serve205 group, and that might be the only one you see listed, which is fine. Once you find it, you want to click on it, and that's going to take you to the main Serve205 Blazer Pulse page. This is the landing page where we're going to connect volunteers to your service projects. For example, if you scroll down on this page, you're going to see your sustainable development goals, but additionally, you're going to see the service projects that have been submitted. This is a sample service project that I have submitted to show you what that would look like. Now I'm going to show you how to actually submit your project yourself. When you scroll up, you're going to see a blue Submit Project button. That's where you and your project coordinator team are going to want to start. From here, it's going to ask you for the name of your project. We want you to put Serve205 first, followed by your sustainable development goal, and ending with the name of your community agency. For the type, leave it as a volunteer opportunity. However, you're going to change single day to random dates. By changing to random dates, this enables you with an opportunity to list multiple volunteer projects through one submission. You're going to leave the time zone. You're going to update the administrator to reflect your own name or the name of the project coordinator, which will be responsible for signing in your volunteers the day of your project. The privacy level should remain public. For the start address, this should be one of two things. It should either be the address of the community agency in which you're volunteering or the location in which you want your volunteers to meet you prior to service for you all to attend service together. So if you would like for your volunteers to meet you on the green, your start location would be the UAB green. And you would need to look up the address for that for anyone who might be confused. And then you can add notes. So maybe where on the green are you going to meet? We will meet by the flagpole. Your end address then, if you're meeting on campus initially, your end address, you should edit that and make that the location of the community agency. So you will need the specific address to ensure that your volunteers get to the right destination. If you are only listing the community agency and you do not plan to meet up beforehand, simply list the location of the community agency as the start address. Your event description should be a very thorough description of what the volunteer can expect when they arrive. Start with meeting. You can share that you're going to be wearing your Serve205 t-shirt, and they can look for that to connect with you to check in upon arrival. Share with them what they need to wear. For example, our group that's going to Jones Valley Teaching Farm, do we recommend that they wear tennis shoes? Share any additional details that you feel like would be useful for them, as well as some information about the community agency. This is also where you should be sure to include parking instructions if there are any for your volunteers, as well as an inclement weather plan. If the event has to be canceled, if it rains, for example, you need to indicate that here and let them know they will receive an email from you if that ends up being canceled. You should be very thorough. The additional questions at the bottom are created by your executive board to ensure we understand the depth of your project. You need to put the community agency contact. This should be the name of the person who you have coordinated this experience with. This is likely the person that you met when you visited the community agency and your go-to person for any needs that you have while you're there. We want to make sure that we know who they are so we can collaborate with them in the future. We also want to know how to get in contact with them in the event that we need to reach out to the group of volunteers while you're there. This is also where you should reiterate your inclement weather plan. This part would not be visible for the volunteers that are registering. This is more so for Serve205 to have an understanding of what your plan is. Same thing for disabled volunteers. It is very important that we're providing a volunteer experience for all students. And you have been instructed to ask your community agency if there are volunteer opportunities for students that may have a physical disability. Please indicate that here so that we can best direct students looking for an experience even if they do have a physical disability. If your organization indicates that they have an additional waiver, this is supplemental to the UAB waiver, you can upload that file here. This will enable us to share it with your registrants prior to their arrival so that they can bring their waiver with them to service. If you do not have one, just don't worry about this step. And then last but not least, we want to make sure that you have thought about where your volunteers will park, and so include this information for the Serve205 Executive Board as well. Once you finish these details, save and continue. It is very important that when you get to the logo section of the Blazer Pulse project submission page that you are leaving that as is. We want to create a brand for Serve205, so we want to leave the current event logo as well as the cover image. Save and continue. And this is where you're going to add the specific date and time for your service event. Because we indicated that we had random dates, you have the option to add as many new dates as you would like. And so go up to the top right corner, click the blue box for Add New Date, and then select the specific date. So let's say we are doing Monday, September 9th, and we're going to do our service from 2 to 4 p.m. This should be the time that you have confirmed with your community agency. This should also include any time in preparation. If the students are supposed to meet you at the green, this should be the time that they're meeting you or the time they're arriving to service if that's the plan. The title is optional. I would recommend just putting the title of your community agency here. And then the number of participants is very important. So you should indicate the number of volunteers that you need for the project, and that should include your project coordinators. Every project coordinator will need to register for service in order to track your impact as a student as well as a project coordinator in Blazer Pulse. And so if you need 5 volunteers in addition to your 3-person project coordinator team, you would need to put that you need 8 volunteers. Leave the lock code blank. We will not be using this. You add that date. If you know all of your dates for the rest of the semester, add all new dates. We want to make sure our volunteers have an opportunity to register and plan for our volunteer service in advance. However, if you have not confirmed with 100% certainty each volunteer project, only submit the ones that you are confident and prepared to visit and have volunteers arrive and participate in. It is our suggestion that you are doing this in advance, as we've already discussed. This should be something that you really already have planned for the semester. However, we understand the needs of our community agencies sometimes vary. So if you learn that a project is going to be canceled based on a need of the community agency, it's going to be important that you're reaching out to us so we can remove that from Blazer Pulse as well. So add all dates here, and once you're finished with this, you're just going to simply click the blue Publish button. When you publish your event, what that does, that enables us to review your submission and then finalize it for publishing on the Blazer Pulse website. That will be reviewed by myself as well as your executive board, and we will ensure that all details are covered and that the additional components of a project submission, including the impacts of the students, are set up for you to be successful the day of your project. And that is all that you have to do to submit your project. Once submitted, you're going to be able to manage your project. And so that's something that whoever is listed as the administrator, when you submitted that initially, will have access to when they log in. When you go to manage, you're going to be able to see who has registered. For example, once they have actually registered, you can message the volunteers that have registered for the event directly through Blazer Pulse. So this will be a useful tool for you once your volunteers have started registering. If you go back to the Serve205 main page, you're going to see those volunteer experiences listed here, and this is where our volunteers are going to go to register. If you click on the one that interests you, or maybe your own, you can get the word out by clicking this link and sending it out to student organizations that you're a part of, or texting this link to friends of yours that you think might want to come volunteer, or maybe new friends that you're establishing through our tabling and promotion sessions. When they go to this link, they will see this page and have an opportunity to click the green register button. By clicking that, that's going to enable them to select the date or dates, if you list more than one date, that they're interested in volunteering with. And through this, they will be able to register and share any information as well as agree to the UAB waivers. And so now I am registered for this event. This is a quick tutorial on how to use Blazer Pulse. I hope that it's been helpful for you and that you feel like you are ready to submit your project for this fall semester. If you have any questions about how to use Blazer Pulse or how to direct students to sign up to volunteer, do not hesitate to touch base so that we can help you best understand how to navigate Blazer Pulse and use it as a resource and tool for success as a Serve205 project coordinator.